Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, this is the fourth Lifestyle Medicine Open Forum that I am doing, and I am so excited to be able to spend this time with you. And I know more people will come and join us. I had a whole bunch of registrations and RSVPs and everything else, so we'll see who joins us, and some people will listen to the recording, so that's all good. So thank you for being here. And it's my honor, my privilege to spend this time with you. And it's really, really great. Some of you are new. So if you're new to ever being with me ever before, you've never been in one of my sessions or listened to me in one of my webinars or anything else like that, please type in the chat window new so that I know that you're new. And I will do an introduction of myself so that you get to know a little bit about me, my background to start us off, and then we'll dive into lots of questions, your questions, what you would like to know about lifestyle medicine's approach to chronic disease and everything else that lifestyle medicine is really up to. So Roger, Billy, Paula, thank you. All right, awesome, really great. Great. And if you are new, write in a little bit. How did you find out about me? Was it online? Was somebody recommended me to you? Was it, any of my videos, whatever it was? How did you find out about me? Was it just, just came across something, whatever it was? It'd be great. That would be wonderful. Event, right? Wonderful. That's great. I'm glad things are working there. So that's good. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Really great. So let me get set up. I'm going to go through. So I'll do a little introduction about myself. So let me kind of work myself over to, I've got a few PowerPoint slides just to go through, just very, very few. And then we'll go through this. I just want to show you a few things. So I'm just going to kind of move this all over here for a second. And then introduce my background so you know a little bit more about me. All right, so let's see here from current slide. Do this, and then do this, and do this, and then do this, and do this. Okay. All right. So a little bit about me, just so for those of you who are new, who've never been with me before. All right. So my name, Ruben J. Guzman. My initials after my name are MPH, which does not stand for the speed that I drive my car, just so you know. All right, so that stands for Masters in Public Health. And so what I did in my education and training is I first did my undergraduate work at California Lutheran University in Thousand Oaks, Southern California. Beautiful, beautiful place. It was wonderful. I majored in biological sciences. I was pre-med. Minored in biochemistry, really had a great time, loved my education. It was fabulous. And then I went to work in the Los Robles Regional Medical Center in Thousand Oaks. I realized I wanted to go to medical school, but I knew I wasn't ready. I worked my way through college, so I was somebody who worked very hard. So I needed extra time. So I worked at the hospital and I became a pathologist assistant. And I learned a lot because I looked at everything that came out of the operating room every single day. And I also did autopsies. So I had a fabulous, fabulous education. And I learned a lot about the human body and how it works. And the senior pathologist, Dr. Sorrel Glover, was really instrumental in teaching me a lot of things. And I learned a lot from him. I was very, very grateful for that education. And then I did go off to medical school at UC Davis School of Medicine, and I went there. I was really keen on becoming either an orthopedic surgeon or somebody who specialized in making a difference in chronic diseases. And my research, independent research in looking at the correlation between obesity and chronic disease led me into the field of public health. And my advisor said, Ruben, you're onto stuff here, but really we don't have the resources here for you. So why don't you take a break from medical school and go and get your master's in public health and see where that leads you. So that's what I did. I stopped medical school after 3 years and I went to UCLA and attended the School of Public Health there. And it was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I finished my program in 1988 at UCLA, loved it, loved it, loved it. It was amazing. And I realized at that point that I was no longer interested in treating disease. I was now passionate about promoting health and preventing disease. So I started to study lifestyle medicine on my own, and I chose not to go back to medical school. It was a brave and bold decision to not go back to medical school. And I studied lifestyle medicine on my own, but there was nothing called lifestyle medicine back then. It didn't exist officially as a field. In 2016, I went to a conference on nutrition and healthcare. And at that conference, I was exposed to a new branch of the American Medical Association. Yes, a new branch. And let me know if you have never heard of this before. The American College of Lifestyle Medicine is a new branch of the American Medical Association, an evidence-based approach to prevent, reverse, and treat chronic disease using lifestyle measures and the areas of nutrition, physical activity, emotional well-being, alcohol, tobacco reduction, healthy relationships, hydration, and sleep. Lifestyle measures as opposed to medications. Not that we're opposed to using medications at the same time, but the thing is, it's using lifestyle measures to prevent, reverse, and treat chronic disease. And we can actually do a better job than medications. And it's absolutely wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. So at that conference, therefore at that conference on nutrition and healthcare, that was October 2016, I then signed up with the American College of Lifestyle Medicine. And then I went to my first lifestyle medicine conference in October 2017. When I walked into the room, I thought I had gone to heaven. It was amazing. There were about 1,200 extraordinary health professionals from over 30 countries in the world, and we're all on the same wavelength. The energy was palpable. It was extraordinary. And the opening panel was Michael Greger, T. Colin Campbell, Caldwell Esselstyn, and Dean Ornish. Remarkable. They've been wonderful teachers for me for quite some time already, and I was in their company. It was just phenomenal. At that conference, they also announced the board certification for lifestyle medicine, an opportunity to become board certified for physicians, MDs and DOs, and then also for professionals, which was really an extraordinary opportunity for PhDs and those with a master's in a health-related field. That's me. I was so ecstatic. I signed up, I studied for a year, and then in October 2018, I went to my second lifestyle medicine conference in Indianapolis. And after the conference, I sat for and I passed my board exam. So I am one of the first official diplomates of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine and the International Board of Lifestyle Medicine. So I am a board certified lifestyle medicine professional. And in fact, on my certificate, it shows that the number for me is actually number 81. So I'm one of the first in the world. So I'm very, very proud of this. I'm very ecstatic about it. It's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to be amongst like-minded people, passionate health professionals who are committed to preventing, reversing, and treating chronic disease using lifestyle measures as opposed to medications, and we know we can do a better job. In addition, I am also a member of the Institute of Coaching out of McLean Hospital at Harvard. And this is one of the things that people who are coaches are part of, especially I'm also an executive and business performance coach. So this is wonderful to be a part of the Institute of Coaching. And I get to live into this quote that Thomas Edison said well over 100 years ago, that the doctor of the future will give no medicine, but will instruct his patient in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. He said this a long time ago. Doesn't this make sense? And this is what lifestyle medicine is doing now. It's so exciting, so exciting. And I also want to let you know that I have absolutely zero, zilch, nada, no conflicts of interest whatsoever. I have no products, I have no schemes, I have no powders to sell you. I don't have any of that. All right. So I do this because of my passion and my love for humanity. I believe that every single one of us has a responsibility as an adult to leave a legacy of having the planet be in better shape than how we found it. I think that's really important for every single one of us. And I believe in the power of paying it forward. I've got 4 boys myself, 4 children, 35, 30, 23, and 20. And to me, it's critically important that I contribute to making this world a better place for my children, my future grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. I plan on being around for a long time. So the thing is, I think it's imperative that we all have that consciousness and awareness to really leave the world in a better place. So I do these seminars and I do these webinars for free because I believe in paying it forward. And I think that's important for everyone to do. And I truly believe that Virgil was correct when he said this well over 2,000 years ago, that the greatest wealth that any of us can have truly is our health. And I speak to CEOs and executives all the time. I'm a speaker for Vistage International. I've been one of their expert resource speakers for over 15 years. And I've taught leadership at the university level, and I've been a student of leadership for almost 40 years. So I believe it's very important for leaders to really recognize this. I love what the Dalai Lama said, that when he was asked about what surprised him most about humanity, the Dalai Lama answered, man sacrifices his health in order to make money. Then he sacrifices money to recuperate his health. And then he is so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present. The result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he is never going to die, and then dies, having never really lived. And I've seen this, I cannot even begin to tell you, I have seen this so many times. I have seen so many people who chased money, 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 growing their companies and really working so hard that they didn't take care of themselves. And as a result, they sacrificed themselves and they've died far too young, and they've died with far too many complications, and it was a miserable process. So I have a process of being able to empower people, and I will share more about that later. But anyway, I am so glad to be able to spend this time with you. And I am here to answer your questions and talk about you and what you would like to be able to learn about lifestyle medicine and what's available to you and how we can help you. And so let's see what, Roger, you found out through a meetup group in Reading, Forks Over Knives. Yes, yes, awesome. All right, very, very good. I'm so glad you're here. And then order the book through Prime. I didn't come, we created my okay, what? All right, very good. All right, so I'm so glad that you're here. Oh, so one of the things, I'll just start off by sharing something very powerful that I just got. I'm so excited. I like to share all the things that I'm learning all the time. I'm constantly learning. Welcome, Anne. Welcome, Lynn, Paula, Leora. Okay, everybody else, really welcome here. So I just got this book. I started reading it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Now, I've been a coach. I've been a professional swimming coach for over 40 years. In fact, if you Google my name, you will find Ruben J. Guzman. You Google that name, you will find that I wrote 3 books in swimming. I wrote the swimming drill book. Yes, it's the best-selling drill book in the entire world. I don't know if it's sold more than 10,000 copies, but the thing is, it's still the best-selling drill book in the entire world. So it's really great. But anyway, I have been coaching athletes for a long period of time, and I have been advocating for a plant-based diet for my athletes all these years. And the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, absolutely, with many other branches of the medical arena, many other scientific organizations, all recommend a plant-based diet. So there's this new book just came out. It's called The Plant-Based Athlete. Plant-Based Athlete, and the authors are Robert Cheek and Matt Frazier. Matt Frazier is the founder of the No Meat Athlete website, and Robert Cheek is the founder of the Vegan Bodybuilding website. And it is a phenomenal book, well-researched, well-researched, really put together very, very well. And the foreword is written by none other than my good friend, Dr. Michael Greger, and he's the author of How Not to Die. So he wrote the foreword to this book. This is an outstanding book. I have been advocating for plant-based performance, and I have a webinar, Optimal Athletic Performance at Any Age. Check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. So it's wonderful, but I've been finding so much good information on this, really good information. I just wanted to share with you. One of the things that they talk about is all the wonderful athletes who are doing plant-based nutrition as part of their performance, including the most remarkable one is probably Scott Jurek, and there are many others that they talk about. But Scott is an ultra marathoner who has done extraordinary feats as a runner, and he's eating all the time. In fact, I love what they wrote about him, that even in his long runs, he's eating while he's running. He's eating burritos. So he's doing all kinds of things. So plant-based foods are just phenomenal, and it makes a difference. So if anybody has any question or concern, like where do you get your protein? Okay, I mean, that's just, it's a crazy question to have, but people ask that all the time. And so I've been really thrilled to be reading this book. So I just want to let you know, that's hot off the presses. So I just got it right after it got on print, and I've been reading that. All right, questions, you're up. Any questions that you have? This is an open forum. This is for you. This is an opportunity for you to ask any questions about anything in terms of health and anything that I can do to support you and help you. I'm here to serve you. That's why. So questions, fire away. Anything at all. George, you've always got questions, right?
Well, now that you bring it up, I do have a question.
Yes.
And it deals with cholesterol. Okay. And so I've been on a whole food plant based diet, and my cholesterol has dropped, but it has not dropped a lot. It's still above the normal. Okay. And I don't know if I should be concerned about that or not. I did some research, and it seems like Dr. Esselstyn is more concerned about nitric oxide in the body versus absolute cholesterol values. But I just wanted to get your opinion. Should I consider, going somewhere and getting put on a statin or something like that to force the cholesterol levels down, or does it really matter what the absolute value of the cholesterol is?
Okay, so can you share, or are you willing to share, what's your total cholesterol?
233.
Okay, so total 233. What is your LDL cholesterol?
Give me a minute and I'll tell you. I'll just need to pick it up.
So we have to look at the components. So this is one of the things that we have to look at. Okay, and then we have to look at your HDL as well. So give me your LDL and HDL.
Give me just a second here and I'll sign on. And
so one of the things that we look at, I'll just continue talking while we're waiting for you to give me those numbers. So a lot of times we look at the total cholesterol. Is that necessarily an indication? Not necessarily. Depends on a few different factors. So, okay, George, what are your numbers?
Okay, so the total cholesterol is 233.
Got that.
The HDL is 38.
Okay.
And the LDL is 160.
Okay. All right. So your HDL is low. The HDL we refer to as the good cholesterol, if you will. It's a high density lipoprotein. So high density lipoprotein, what we want to think of, the high density lipoprotein are like they are the garbage trucks. They go around and they pick up the cholesterol deposits that are in the bloodstream, in the blood vessels, especially the blood vessel wall. So they're going to go around, they pick it up. That's what their job is. They're picking up those cholesterol deposits. The LDL being high is an indication that you have inflammation going on. All right, so the LDL is that's what's the bad cholesterol. Those are the dump trucks. So they're the dump trucks. So if those are high, the LDL cholesterol being high, and what we show in the research, this was published in Circulation many years ago. What they showed is that the higher the LDL, the higher the risk for heart disease or vascular disease. So the LDL, if there's one singular indicator, that's the one that we want to look at, is the LDL. All right, so if the LDL is over 100, I always tell people, okay, that's concerning. I want to drive that LDL down lower, and I want to drive the HDL up higher. Now the HDL, you don't have to take a drug to drive that up higher. That's going to be a matter of usually physical activity and exercise. So the HDL will usually go up with exercise. Now, the LDL is, there's several factors involved, okay? One could be your diet. So if you've got saturated fat, if you've got cholesterol in your diet, if you've got stress, those kinds of things will contribute to the LDL going up. So we have to look at it. Now, you've been to my Healthy Heart Longer Life webinar, haven't you?
Yes, I've been to everything.
I know you have. Okay, so watch it again. So you need to check that out. And then you can call me, all right? Call me and we can talk this through and work through this, and then we may need to work on something like this. All right, and then so the LDL is a little high for you. So we need to look at what are the possible contributing factors there in terms of what's contributing to the LDL going up. See, so the LDL being high is an indicator light. That's your check engine light. All right, so taking a statin drug isn't necessarily going to help deal with the cause. Here's the issue. This is why lifestyle medicine is so valuable. In the history of medicine treating chronic disease, there is no history of medications reversing chronic disease. Doesn't happen. We've never reversed heart disease with medication. We've never reversed diabetes with medication. We've never reversed cancer with medication. We've never reversed any chronic disease with medication. What we do is we're treating the symptoms. We're treating what we see as the problems. We're never addressing the underlying root cause. So that's why with the lifestyle medicine approach, what we need to do is look at the underlying root cause. I need to do a full-scale consultation with you, George, to figure out what's going on in your entire life. Everything. How's your sleep? How's your hydration? How's your exercise? How's your stress? All of those things. We need to look at all those things to see what are the weak links that we can address that could potentially make a big difference in terms of that LDL cholesterol so that it can come down without statins. Without statins. Okay, statin drug, by the way, has so many negative side effects. I really wouldn't want anybody to be taking that. It's really, you don't want to have that. So we need to look at that. So your LDL is in fact high. So I would be concerned, and let's talk about that. You may want to schedule a consultation with me, and then let's go at it and look at the whole picture to see what's going on. I'm not going to do it right here. But we can talk about being able to do that. But it is concerning. All right, it's a little bit. It's actually fairly high. All right, it's over 100. So we know. I don't know if you remember that graph that I showed. It's from. I'd have to pull up the PowerPoints and see if I can show it. I possibly could do it. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I can do that. Let's see if I'll open. And oh, I have it right here. See, I can do that. So I will find that graphic so that we can talk about it. But yeah, it's definitely something to be aware of. Now, do you know what your blood pressure is?
It's fine. It's like 120/70.
Okay, so it's right on the edge. It's right on the edge. Yeah. So so 120. So that's. Yeah, 120 to 139. Yeah, so you're in the green. All right, so you're in the normal range, so that's fine there. How physically active are you?
I get out of bed every morning.
Yeah. George, thanks for being honest. Okay, chances are you probably need a little bit more physical activity in your life.
I might.
Yes. Let me ask you this. How much water are you drinking a day?
I drink, probably about 8 glasses of water a day.
Good. Keep that up and drink more. Have you started the green smoothies yet?
I'm doing that now. I've started them. I haven't been very consistent, but I have started them.
Okay, this is going to be your treatment. I'm going to suggest that you start with these green smoothies. I talked about it in my Freedom from Autoimmune Disorders and my kidney disease webinars. So I would definitely recommend that you get on these green smoothies. So get going on that. There's some inflammation going on for whatever reason, I don't know, but at least in the meantime, you can get started on this. This is 10 times better than any statin medication. 10 times better. Okay, and there's no negative side effects whatsoever. All right, so you want to get started on that. So get on those smoothies and get started with that. So you get your, for those of you who don't know, here's how you get started on a smoothie. So Dr. Brooke Golder, who wrote the book Goodbye Lupus and also Goodbye Autoimmune Disorder, those 2 books, and just phenomenal information. So you want to get started on the smoothies, and she recommends, and I've been following this, and you get a Vitamix built blender or a Blendtec blender. They're high powered. Those are the best. If you got a Vitamix, you're blessed. All right, it's really great. And you pack it with 75% with high nutrient green leafy greens. So you want those dark leafy greens. You want the kale, you want the chard, you want the spinach, any of those, fine, whatever. Any of those. So just pack it in 75% of the blender with those dark leafy greens. And then you put in about a half a cup of flax or chia seeds. All right, so whole flax or chia seeds, perfectly fine. Just dump that in. And then you put the rest of the blender with 25% of the blender with fruit. So pack that in. Any kind of fruit, doesn't matter, just to make it taste good. Mango, papaya, pineapple, anything. Whatever you want is fine. There's many, many recipes. It's perfectly easy to do. You put water in there up to the level of the greens. So you fill it up 75% with that 75% level with the green, with water. And then you let the Vitamix do its job for about 2 to 3 minutes and blends it up perfectly beautiful. And then you get this nice dark green smoothie. It's really wonderful. And you drink ad libitum, as much as you want. Okay, so you drink as much as you want. I usually have 2 16-ounce glasses of greens every single day. So that's how much I'm drinking, at least that. Okay, so for you, I would do that at least. And if you want to do more, perfectly fine. And it's great. But continue drinking your water. And then I would definitely get started with the greens. Then watch my webinar, George. So Healthy Heart, Longer Life. And then I'm going to show you this graph. So I'm going to show you this now. Let me move this over for a second. So this will be good just to get everybody to see this, because this is an important conversation, because when it comes to heart health, we got to pay attention. Let's see. Okay, so now let me do this and share screen. Okay, all right. So George, this is the graphic here. All right. So this is from circulation back in 2004. So LDL level and heart disease risk. So we know that if your LDL is lower, so I like to see people have LDLs below 70 if possible, but definitely below 100. So the risk is 1.0 if it's 40, and it continues to go up. So this is what we see in the relative risk of coronary heart disease and logarithmic scale. So the thing is, the higher the LDL, the higher the risk of coronary heart disease. So you are up here, my friend. So this is about your let's see, you said 160. So if we look at that, that's about close to a 3.0 relative risk for coronary heart disease. So we got to pay attention, right? Makes sense?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Yeah, so so don't play games with this, schedule a session with me. Let's go to work on this, and let's figure this out. I felt many people reverse this and really get their heart disease in check completely. So get started with the green smoothies right away. Okay, do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Schedule a session with me. Drink your water. All right, make sure you do that. I would drink, in fact, what we want to do, Dr. Brooke Goldner talks about this. Brooke talks about getting up to between 96 and 128 ounces of water a day. So I recommend that. So you want to get a lot, plenty of water. Measure your water.
Do you count the water in the smoothie as water, or?
Yes.
Or...
Yeah, I count. Usually in a full Vitamix blender, that's usually about 4 cups of water. So it's plenty of water. Yeah, so you can count that because you're drinking that. So it's good. It's good. So count that.
Thanks, Ruben.
All right. Okay, let's see. And remember, there's lots of things like stress. Yeah, let's see here. Yep. Anne says LDL over 100 has nothing to do with nutrition, hydration, or exercise. The other lifestyle factors that play a huge role, like stress, which is of the highest priority in making a difference with the number just sharing. Absolutely the case. And that's usually the biggest contributing factor for a lot of people is stress. It really is. Because remember this, I mean, if we're in the state of stress, our brain is going to operate in the sympathetic or parasympathetic state. It's going to be the sympathetic state. While we're in the sympathetic state, well, then guess what? We're in the state of survival. So now our brain is wired for fight, flight, freeze, or fold. And all our hormones, neurotransmitters, everything else is really all about being. So that's what we're doing. Somebody's got a dog. Okay. Hey, Leora, do you have a question, or or does your dog have a question?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I mean, dogs ask questions too. All right. Okay. Very, very good. All right. So very good. Thanks for that, Anne. Very good. So yeah, we really have to pay attention to our stress levels too. And for instance, if we're not getting enough sleep, that could really affect us as well. So there's a lot of different factors, that can contribute to our LDL going up, a lot of stress levels for whatever reason. Remember, stress can be physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual stress. Okay, those are the 4 basic fundamental human energies, all right? Physical energy is our body, but mental is how we think, emotional is how we feel, and spiritual is our sense of purpose and our drives, not necessarily religion. So those 4 energies can all affect us, All right, who else a question? Billy, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I certainly can.
Okay. So I came here not to ask any questions, but since you were talking about the plant-based athlete book, I thought of one. I already have a doctor. Dr. Lori Marbus is my doctor. Are you familiar with her?
No, I can't say that I am.
Okay. Well, anyway, I have a daughter and son-in-law that are trying to grow a professional soccer athlete.
Great.
And their 9-year-old son is a very finicky eater, and they are sad eaters.
Oh boy.
So they spend a lot of time bargaining with him to eat crappy food at the table. And I'm trying to be quiet because I don't want to cause conflict. I mean, I'm not there all the time, but when I'm there, it's like, eat these chicken nuggets and these fries. And I'm like, if he would do, so I'm asking you, I will buy the book and I'll give them the book, but what other advice do you have that will grab their attention really quick? And they know what I do as a, plant-based whole food eater that's working on my health. And I'm still in the process of that. I'm not perfect at that. And they occasionally ask for my advice, but something that's going to have to grab their attention and make sense right away for a child.
Yes.
That's a finicky eater.
Yeah. Yeah, the finicky child is at 9 years of age. So couple of things. Yeah, well, first of all, the parents have to drive this. Okay, so parents are responsible at this stage of the game, and they have to really function as leaders. And this is one of the things that I always talk about. It's about leadership. So parents need to function as benevolent, kind, compassionate, but firm leaders. So being able to lead their children and being able to lead by example, being able to it's absolutely critical that the parents lead by example, and the parents are responsible for creating the environment. So I would suggest that the parents need to watch The Game Changers. Like, they need to watch The Game Changers. All right, my girlfriend's father finally watched The Game Changers at 74 years of age. And then he called her, they were having a conversation just yesterday, and he said, "Oh my God, have you seen this movie? It's amazing. I mean, I didn't know that the strongest man is plant-based. And I mean, the Olympic athlete, she's an Olympic cyclist, Tatsi Bouch." And like, wow, he was so excited. It was like unbelievable. Unbelievable. So the thing is, many people need a strong visual to get them motivated, and they need the stories. So things like the documentaries like The Game Changers, I would definitely recommend that. So do that. I would start with that. The other one would be my webinar and on optimal athletic performance at any age. So I would definitely recommend that. Now, in that webinar, I showcased my youngest son. Okay, so he is now 20 years old. He's been strictly plant-based for over 8 years. Today, he is a competitive swimming athlete. He is a competitive swimmer. He is going into his senior year at UC Santa Cruz. He is the leading 200 breaststroker, one of the better 100 breaststroke. He's one of the best breaststrokers. He helped them win a conference championship for the first time. UC Santa Cruz, the Slugs. All right. Can you imagine? The Slugs actually they won a conference championship in swimming. I mean, so anyway, they won a championship. He's doing really well. His goal is to reach the Olympic trials in the next 3 years. All right. So I am his off-season coach. I coach and train him now. He's home for the summer, so I'm training him. And he's a phenomenal athlete. And in fact, he is drinking these green smoothies every day as well. And it's remarkable. He's completely plant-based, doing the smoothies. His inflammation is absolutely phenomenally low, and his recovery is enhanced, and his energy level is so much better in performance. Now, in my webinar, I talk about the 3 major reasons why I say that athletes need to select a plant-based diet. One is increased energy, and we have so much research that shows this. I mean, this research goes back 50 years. 50 years. All right, Dr. Astran did the research 50 years ago. He's like the father of exercise physiology. Dr. Astran, an MD, and he showed this. He took collegiate athletes, he put them on a very high meat diet, and he put them on that for a whole week. And then he had them get on the exercise bike, an ergometer, to measure their endurance. So he measured their endurance, and their endurance was 60 minutes. That was as much as they could do. Then they petered out. So then the next week, he mixed their diet. So a lot of meat and dairy and eggs. And then he also gave them fruits and vegetables. So it was a mixed diet. And then at the end of the week, you put them on the ergometer again, and their endurance doubled to 120 minutes. And then the third week, what he did, he eliminated all the meat and dairy, put them on nothing but fruits and vegetables, completely plant-based diet, and then put them on the ergometer, and their endurance tripled to 180 minutes. Now, we've got so many athletes today that are showcasing this. Scott Jurek, so many runners. I mean, there's so many incredible, when you read the book, I mean, the stories, it is completely filled with so many stories in this book. So you'll read that. But I would say they need the visual. So get them on the Game Changers, get them to watch my webinar, Optimal Athletic Performance at Any Age. And I have lots of pictures and stories and everything else. All right. And if they have any questions about being able to work with athletes and how to do that, they can contact me. Not a problem. Not a problem. Because my children have been, my two youngest boys, they've been vegetarian since birth. They've had very little meat and dairy or eggs throughout their entire life. But Joseph has been strictly plant-based for the last almost 9 years now. Yeah, that's right, almost 9 years. And he is phenomenal. I mean, he's 6'5", 185 pounds, 9% body fat, 45% muscle. He's lean, clean, strong, and he's powerful, and he's just an amazing athlete. And so that's what I know that they're looking to help create. All right. So here's a parent right here who's actually facilitated a collegiate athlete and being able to do that effectively. So that would be a great thing for them to be able to get started with.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Great question. Great question. Okay. All right. Let's see. Nelson said, will this be available to watch later? Yes. What I will do is, you registered, so automatically what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the recording on an email with all the resources from what I talk about today. So you have no worries. It's all just good. Great, great, great. Who else? Questions, anything, questions about anything? Fire away, fire away. We're just getting warmed up. Okay. Anything at all? Let's see. I will look. Oh, I'll share. If nobody has a question, I'll share something up. Roger, go ahead, Roger.
Okay, so I started I'd say I was about 95% vegan starting at the end of June.
Okay.
I had a couple of issues that came up, and so here's my fair warning to anybody who's listening. It gets a little gross, so just bear with me. Found that I had to use the bathroom an awful lot, a lot of bowel movements. So that was one of those things that was like, okay, does that eventually kind of ease up, or does it just seem like it continues after practically every meal?
Okay. All right. Very, very good. So let's talk about gastrointestinal health. All right. So that's really a good thing. So one of the things that happens, most of us in the United States are deficient in fiber. All right. Everybody thinks the deficiency in protein. It's really, it's a weird, wacky type of scenario that we have in the United States. The marketing is protein, 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 which is meat, dairy, and eggs and processed foods that contribute to that protein. And the thing is, nobody's marketing fiber, 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 fiber. And so that's why we have all this chronic disease, and everybody's deficient in fiber. And so nobody's going to the bathroom. Everybody has all the chronic diseases. They got all the colon cancer and ulcerative colitis and all these other problems. And it's making a ton of money for the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry. I mean, they're just making money hand over fist. So what we should be promoting is fiber, fiber, fiber. So I do have a webinar that I'm going to encourage you to watch, and it's Get Your Gut Healthy. Get Your Gut Healthy. So it's on my YouTube channel. It's wonderful, and it's based on the book of my good friend, Dr. Will Bulsiewicz, who wrote the book Fiber Fueled. Absolutely fantastic information. Now, here's the reality is this. Most Americans go to the bathroom once a day, maybe once every 2 days. Some people I have seen once every week having a bowel movement. That's a serious problem. Our intestinal tract is not designed to do that at all. Now, do you have any children, Roger? Do you remember changing diapers? Do you remember how often you changed diapers?
Yeah.
It was a lot, right? So it was a lot. That's normal. It's normal to change diapers quite frequently. It's normal for us to actually have 3 bowel movements a day. It's perfectly normal for us to be able to have that, 3 or more, not a problem. All right, it really is how our intestinal tract is designed to work. Now, when we have enough fiber, we actually do have frequent bowel movements. It's not a problem. Now, in my webinar on Get Your Gut Healthy, I actually talk about a lot of poop. Okay, so I have the poop conversation. Not only should you be going frequently, but also you should be checking the nature of the quality of your poop. So I have a scale for you there. I'll see if I can bring that one up. We'll get graphic today, why not? So we'll have fun with this. So the thing is, we need to actually be checking our poop. Now the thing is, if you have children, you were doing that automatically. All right, you learned very quickly if you have a child that you needed to check their poop. You were always looking at it while you were cleaning diapers. Now I have 4 boys, so I did a lot of diaper changes. I did it, and they were spread out, so I had it for a long time. So the thing is, I got to see a lot of poop, and when I did autopsies, I got to see even more poop because I had the distinct honor of taking every single person's intestinal tract out of the body cavity, putting it into a deep wash basin, taking my surgical scissors and slicing it open and washing it out by hand. Yes, all 18 to 30 feet of it. So I used to do that every single autopsy. So the thing about it is that we should have good quality poop. Most of us don't. Most of us don't go often enough. Most of us don't have good quality poop. Now, if we're pooping enough, we should be pooping like a champion, and that should be about 3 to 4 times a day. That's normal. That is perfectly normal. That is a sign of good gastrointestinal health. Really is. And so let me get to these slides here. So I will go here and just kind of shift over and oops, let's see. Show these slides. Okay, let's see. We go to slideshow from current slide. Okay, and then let's see, where is mine? There it is. Okay, so now share my screen. Okay, so here is my mentor, Popeye. Popeye had it right. So 97% of the American population is deficient in fiber. Fiber, not enough. So minimum daily requirement is 31.5 grams a day. However, the average American on the standard American diet gets only 15 grams a day. So this is probably where you were before, Roger, right? So you were lower in fiber. Now, vegetarians get an average of 45 grams a day. Plant-based, now you're going 95% plant-based, you're probably getting 50, 60 or more grams of fiber a day. Now, so that's causing a lot of changes in your system because you got a lot of fiber. Now, that's also going to feed all of those wonderful microbes. So I want you to watch Get Your Gut Healthy. You'll learn a lot from that. Now, you want to be able to poop like a champ. That's really important. So your body is now starting the process. So you're asking your doctor, how frequently should you poop? Well, it's 3 to 4 times a day. And the quality of your poop, you want to check. So here is a scale to help you look. So this is what we look at. Dr. Michael Clapper shares about this in his seminars. So there's 7 different types of poop. All right, from small and hard, difficult to pass. All right, now what we want to have is 3, 4, and 5s. All right, that's what we want to be able to be having our poop. So we want to have it in this category here. That's good. It should be somewhat soft. All right, this is ideal. Sausage shaped, soft and smooth. All right, that's really good. That means if it comes out like Foster freeze ice cream, you're doing great. Okay, soft serve ice cream, you're doing fabulous. That is a good sign. So that's what you want to be able to have. If it's watery, that's not very good either. If it's very small, fluffy, mushy, all right, you want to have a little bit more fiber going on there. So we usually want to stay here. 3, 4, and 5 is a very good indication that you're doing really well. And pooping is very important for our health. So we want to make sure that we're getting we want to poop frequently, and we want to have good quality poops, just like you would with the baby. You want to make sure if you had a baby that was not pooping on a consistent basis, you would go to the doctor. You would run to the pediatrician, because the pediatrician say, let me know if there's any problems with this, because if a baby is not pooping regularly, that's a problem. That's a concern. So we want to make sure that it's going on there. All right, so that's very good. So I hope that answers your question. So I hope you're relieved in a positive way. And as long as you're doing fine and you're going fine, and that's okay. And another problem that some people think of, oh, I got all this gas. Okay, that's normal. Okay, that is normal. By the way, all animals fart. All right, they all do. Okay, so they all do. So the thing is, we all fart. That's normal. Now the thing is, as you're changing your microbiome, what will happen is that you're going to feed your microbes in your microbiome all these wonderful fiber molecules that are going to feed those microbes. And so they're going to produce them, since they're doing their job and they're doing what they're supposed to be doing, they're going to produce some gas along the way. Perfectly normal. It gets better. It does get better. It takes some time. All right, let's see here. I'm going to look. Oh, yeah, go ahead, Roger, follow up.
Sorry, yeah. The other one that I wanted to ask about is I've never had any kind of skin rashes. I've never had any kind of skin disease. As an athlete in high school and elementary school, I never had any jock issues or, athlete's foot or any of that kind of stuff. Well, I went to my doctor and I have these little spots on my back. Okay. And he says, well, it's a fungus. And then I went to a dermatologist, and he describes it as tinea versicolor.
Yeah.
As a fungus. And I asked the dermatologist if that was diet related, because I know that there has been an increase in the kinds of bacteria I've been putting in my body, and yeasts and other kinds of things. And so I was wondering if in your opinion, if that is a diet related matter. It's hot in Reading also.
Hot? Okay.
It's hot here in Reading. So I know that
you're
sweat.
In Reading. You're in Reading.
Yeah, sweat and that kind of stuff also has something to do with it. But so but I'd never ever experienced anything like this before this.
Right.
And so, just because they both happen simultaneously does not necessarily mean they're correlated.
Correct. Yeah, correct. So, it is summer. So summertime has a higher, propensity for being able to pick up some kind of fungal infection. Sweat, especially if you're sweating and you're having that sweat being prolonged for a long period of time, that could be a contributing factor. The diet, here's the thing about the skin. So the skin is the largest organ that we have in our body, and it's contiguous and with the intestinal tract. So, you've got an inner tube and the outer coating. So the thing is, the skin is oftentimes a reflection of what we're putting in our mouth. It's oftentimes a reflection. So there could be some contributing factors as far as the food is concerned. And it also could be that there might be some kind of deficiency that's going on as well. So that might be another factor. So that likely started, and I'm willing to, so you said you started in the end of June. So I'm willing to suggest that could be something that started beforehand and it's now just showing up, because this condition wouldn't likely just immediately show up like that. It's not the usual process for tinea versicolor. All right, so that's something that is a long process for it to finally be manifested. So it's been there for quite some time. You just haven't known it, and it hasn't really gotten to this point, whereas now it's starting to show up. So I don't think that it's caused by the plant-based diet. However, the plant-based diet can actually help you in terms of being able to reverse this. So that's what I would suggest. That's more likely the condition and the situation that's occurring right now. So you want to be able to do these green smoothies. All right, so you want to add this, and with the green smoothies, especially with the flax and chia seeds, which are going to be high in omega-3 fatty acids, those are going to be helpful to help promote the anti-inflammatory effect, which is what you want to be able to do with any kind of fungal infection. So funguses are one of the microbes that we have in our body. We already have funguses already there. So one of the things that happens is that they get a foothold when inflammation is higher. So I'm willing to bet that there was more inflammation in your life, there was more stress physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually before the end of June. Am I correct?
I'm a teacher.
Oh my God.
And this has been by far and away, the very hardest year of my 30-year teaching career. So yeah, there was some stress involved there. So just as a further report, the spots and the sizes of the spots on my back are probably less than half of the size they were at the end of June. Okay, so it's all going away. It's starting to get there. And my dermatologist said use some Head and Shoulders and as a body wash. But it's good to know that I think I'm moving in the right direction. And, so I appreciate your help on that too.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's, a lot of dermatologic conditions are actually really helped tremendously by going to a plant-based diet. So it's good news. Good news. All right. Really great. Really great. Awesome. All right. Let's see here. Okay, and says, after following Brooke Goldner, I am drinking 48 ounces of green juices smoothies every day. I've noticed my poop is green and I go like 3 times per day. Is this okay or is this too much? No, it's wonderful. Okay, also I have experienced a little bit of digestive stress like periodic cramping. So should I hold back a bit on how much I consume of green drinks? According to your poo chart, I am 3 or 4 at most times. As long as your poop is at 3 or 4, you're doing really well. I wouldn't hold back. Now, the thing about it, as far as the digestive stress and periodic cramping, it could be other things going on there. So I'm not really sure what's happening there. So you may want to take a look at that. But it sounds like the green juices, the green smoothies are doing well for you. Keep that going. As long as your poop's in that 3 or 4 range, you're doing well. And you may, if you're doing your exercise, like I think you mentioned earlier that you are, so that's good. Okay, so that's good. All right, so just try that out, and then let's look at the rest of your lifestyle spokes and see what else is going on, to see what else is happening there. Okay, let's see. Let's see, something else besides flax seeds. Flax seeds or chia seeds are good. So chia seeds are really good. Chia are wonderful. They're both of those, flax and chia seeds. I talk about it in my webinars on kidney disease and autoimmune disorders. Both of those have extremely high levels of omega-3. The ratio of omega-3 to omega-6s are extremely high in flax and chia seeds. There's nothing else that we have as a concentrated effort, that a concentrated amount of the omega-3 fatty acids than flax and chia seeds. Absolutely fabulous. So they're really wonderful. And you can use both, or you can use one or the other. That's perfectly fine. Let's see, what else? Okay, other questions? Come on, unmute yourself. Let's have a party here. Anybody at all? Unmute yourself and we can answer your questions. Oh, I'll share a question from my Evolving Health. By the way, I have a group coaching program. So it's my Evolving Health Lifestyle Medicine Immersion program. It's a 12-week program. And so I am doing a program right now. We started in the beginning of June. And so I have a wonderful, wonderful group of people. So we have our weekly calls. And in fact, we had our call this morning at 10 a.m. and it's phenomenal. So one of the things that we do is I have a structured coaching process, and empower people. It's an accountability process that's really outstanding. And so they had some great questions. So one of the questions that was asked was about being able to manage a schedule for changes in your lifestyle. How do we do that? How do we actually create a new schedule so that when we make changes to our lifestyle, we can have the best of intentions, but if we don't create practices and habits, then it doesn't come about. It doesn't become something that's consistent. So it's very important for us to really manage our schedule. So some of the things that I recommend to people is that you would do this like anything else in life. You'd have to be able to create a template. Now, one of the things that I learned from, and I have many, many wonderful teachers. So Dr. Stephen Covey is one of my teachers, and he wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And First Things First was a great program that he actually developed based on the fact that so many people have challenges with creating effective schedules. So what I learned from him was to create a template of a week. All right, 7 days, 7 times 24 hours is 168 hours. So 168 hours, and really getting established with your time frame, like what are you using that 168 hours for? And being able to understand the importance of putting your big rocks into the jar of 168 hours. So he has this exercise that's really wonderful. It's very powerful. And being able to put these different size rocks into basically a fishbowl or a jar, and being able to arrange it in such a way that you can get everything in, and you have to go in with the big rocks first. That's what you have to be able to do. And so being able to create a calendar and a schedule so that you have a routine. The key that we have to be able to do to become healthy is we need to be able to create a routine. That means start with a schedule, arrange the big rocks in such a way that you get them in, and then practice this routine on a consistent basis, because habits produce results. Habits produce results. So it's not going to happen automatically. It's not going to happen just because we think about it. People think about going to the gym all the time. They never get there. So we want to be able to create those habits, and that's going to really lead to a very effective change in our lifestyle. So it's very important for us to do that. Okay, other questions, Come on, you're up. Go at it. Go ahead. Here you go. You get this time with me. Anything at all, any questions at all, especially those of you who are relatively new to working with me, anything at all. There's questions about hydration, nutrition, physical activity, stress, sleep, hydration, healthy relationships, alcohol, tobacco reduction or substance reduction. Oh, coffee, caffeine. We can talk about caffeine. Oh, we got all kinds of things that we can talk about. Yes, Paula, I heard you. Okay.
So I started, it's called Eat Like a Bear, where you eat a gigantic salad and a little bit of protein, and with your green smoothie. I don't like kale. Like I said, the flaxseed, I tried that before and it kind of gets my stomach in a knot. Is that just going to go away? So, and kale seems to do the same thing, so I don't eat that either.
Okay. So you said you're eating like a bear?
That's what it's called, eating like a bear. And
Okay.
you just eat a huge, I also do it fast. You do it fasting. So I eat 1 hour a day, and you can eat the biggest salad that you can make, greens and vegetables, whatever, 6 ounces of protein.
What kind of protein are we talking about here?
I eat chicken. Unfortunately, I'm not totally plant-based. Chicken, steak, eggs.
Okay.
Those, I'm bad at eating protein.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. All right.
I like to chew.
You like to chew. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. I get that. All right.
I miss crunchy things.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've been, all my life, I'm 61, all my life I've eaten bread and rice and pasta. I don't eat any pasta, any rice anymore.
Uh-huh.
Occasionally I'll eat bread.
Okay.
So I'm trying, but I'm not there yet.
Got it. Got it.
But my big thing is my stomach being in a knot from those greens. Does
Mm-hmm.
it just go away eventually? I mean, sounds kind of silly, but
So here's some things to think about. Okay, so eat like a bear. Where did you find out about this? This is very interesting. I've never heard this one before.
it's a woman, I can't think of her last name. It's Amanda, and it was
Uh-huh.
just something she started doing on her own. She was going to have to get stomach surgery, but she had to lose weight, so she's just started eating gigantic salads. She
Mm-hmm.
lost half her body weight.
Mm-hmm.
She has a big following on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
These people that are able to lose 100 pounds and keep it off, and they
Mm.
look like totally different people.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm
Okay.
trying anything I can to lose weight.
Okay, got
I
it.
don't like to cook,
Got it. All
so I'm
right.
going to start looking at some of your webinars
Okay, good.
and try and get eating better.
Very good. Very,
So,
very good. All right. Very good. All right. Well, I get the goal for losing weight. I understand that. A lot of people have been frustrated with their weight for a long time. How long have you been frustrated with your weight?
oh, my baby is 27, so I would say at least 15 years.
Okay, got
I
it.
have heart disease that runs wild in my family.
Okay.
My brothers, 3 of them, by the time they were 60, one had open heart surgery, the other 2 had blood clots, and one had stents put in, 4 stents, emergency surgery.
Mhm.
My father died when he was 60 after having a bypass.
Mm.
My mother lived till she was 80, so I'm hoping I have her genes. My sister and I seem to have her genes so far.
Okay.
So not only to lose weight, but to be healthy and live as long as I can.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So
Oof.
Great. Really great. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
So let me ask you this. Do you have claws on your hands like that bear? Do you have
No,
claws?
no.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness. I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. Do you have razor sharp teeth and no molars?
No.
Interesting. Okay. Thank goodness. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do you have a very short intestinal tract with lots of proteases that are designed to digest animal proteins?
No.
No, you don't have that. Interesting. So I get how so many people are desperate to lose weight. I really do. I understand that. I was 55 pounds heavier than you see me today, it's going on 27 years ago. And I had high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and high blood sugar. I had issues. And the nurse practitioner told me I had issues, Paula. And I didn't care. I didn't care because I was depressed. When you're depressed, you don't really care. And I was a depressed, intelligent, hardworking, responsible human being. So what does a depressed, hardworking, responsible human being do when they are depressed? What do you think?
Eat,
Yeah, eat. Absolutely
drink,
the case.
eat.
Yeah, but what kind of foods do they eat when they're depressed?
Anything junky,
Yeah.
fast that you can get your hands on. Yes.
Bingo.
I
You are
agree.
my friend. You are now officially my friend, okay?
All right.
Because you understand.
Yes.
Okay, you understand. So I've been there, I've done that, so I understand that. And I did that for 4.5 years after I ruptured my Achilles tendon playing basketball.
Oh.
I was in a deep, dark hole for 4.5 years. And what a lot of people do when they are depressed, they are in the state of denial. And I certainly was. And I just kept on going with that for 4.5 years, and I put on the weight. Now, I'm a former collegiate swimmer. 55 pounds on a collegiate swimmer's body is a lot of weight. It's
Yes.
a lot of weight. And it wasn't muscle at all. It was fat. Okay. It was all fat. And I lost some of the muscle that I had from before, that's for sure. So the thing about it, I understand that you get to a point where you want to, you get desperate about losing weight and you want to lose the weight, and it would make a difference. Just esoteric. I mean, aesthetically, you can see it. You want it. You look at yourself and you say, this has to end. And that's what I finally got to. I got to that point where I said, I've had enough. This has to end. So that was the wake-up call for me. So in 1995, early 1995, my friend, and I use that term loosely, he walked up to me while I'm coaching my swimmers on deck, and he said, getting a little chubby there, Ruben. And I'd never heard Ruben and chubby in the same sentence before. And then he turned away, and I was steaming mad. And I had a buttermilk donut in my hand. I wanted to throw it at him, Paula. But I didn't want to waste the donut. You understand?
Yep.
You feel me?
Yep.
Okay. So I had to get straight with myself that, and here's the thing. I had to get straight with myself that I had done this to myself. Not intentionally, but subconsciously. So Einstein said something a long time ago. He said that the significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. What's humbling about that is two things. One, we have to think a different way. But secondly, we need to take responsibility for the fact that we created our own problem, not intentionally, but subconsciously. Now, I don't know about you, Paula, but I never took a course in school that was entitled How to Effectively Rewire Your Subconscious Mind and Be Free of the Monkey Mind. Did you ever take a course entitled that?
No.
Nope, I never did either. But that's where the game begins. We have to begin with understanding that this monkey runs the show. This subconscious monkey runs the show. And it's in charge of 95% of how we live our life. And that's based on our programming that we established in the first 7 years of our life. So one of the things I learned, Dr. Bruce Lipton talks about this extensively, is that our programming is established by the time we're 7 years old with all of this subconscious programming that we just download from everything that we see, that we hear, and that we experience. And so we don't even realize, as adults, we don't realize that you're 61 years old. I mean, you don't realize that your life has been lived predominantly from this subconscious wiring. So we have to be able to rewire the subconscious mind. We have to be effective at doing that. Fortunately for me, I've had many teachers who have taught me exactly how to do that. And it's empowered me beyond comprehension. It's incredible to be able to have the training, the practices, the skills of being able to rewire your subconscious mind. And I've learned how to do this, and I've been teaching people how to do this for 25 years, 26 years. And it starts there, because if we don't rewire the subconscious mind, the monkey wins no matter what you do. No matter what diet you follow, no matter what process you go to, no matter what somebody else's successes have been, the monkey will win. At some point, it will win. So I've learned to be able to rewire the subconscious mind. That's number one. Number two, we need to have a proven strategy, because doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results is the definition of, Paula, can you help me out?
Failure.
Insanity.
Yeah.
Einstein said that also. So it's insanity. And it's not that we're clinically insane. I wouldn't say that anybody is, but the thing is, we have this insidious, this hidden insanity. We will do the same kinds of things over and over again, expecting different results. And then we end up having the same results over and over again. So let me ask you a question. How many different diets have you been on in the last 15 years?
Oh, probably 4, 5.
Okay. So they work short term?
Some, yes.
To some
Some
extent.
don't work at all.
Yeah, exactly. So the thing is, we need to recognize that when we're stuck in this monkey mind, we are going to use whatever we can desperately go after to see if we can get a result, an immediate result. And so the monkey is winning. And then there are plenty of people who prey on people's monkey minds, because we're desperate for a result. We're desperate for a short-term, quick fix solution. We're desperate for that. And we're prey to that. So then what we're looking for is this quick answer. And we don't even understand how it will work, but we're desperate, we'll try anything. So Einstein said we need to have a proven solution. So what we need is a proven evidence-based approach. An evidence-based approach. Something that actually has a track record of substantial success. Not just some anecdotal stories and a lot of good marketing. Because there's plenty of that. There's plenty of that available. So lifestyle medicine is an evidence-based approach. And when it comes to effective clinical weight loss, we know the research is there. I'm going to definitely thank you for that, Marcia. So we know that the research shows, I mean, you'll need to watch my Lose Weight, Feel Great webinar, because I actually showcase the research. So we know that a plant-based diet, compared to all other diets, head to head, we've gone head to head with all the other diets, and we actually show that a plant-based diet is absolutely the best approach for long-term sustainable weight loss. Now, I'm living proof. Okay, because I lost the 55 pounds. It took me about a year, and I've been keeping it off for over 25 years. So Paula, here's what my recommendation is. Don't listen to anyone unless they've lost over 50 pounds and have kept it off for at least 20 years or longer.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Okay.
just my benchmark. That's just my benchmark. Now, that's still not enough to be successful, because then you need to be intelligent. So the third piece to this plan is to be able to surround yourself with the right kinds of people, so that you develop the support and accountability so that you are successful. You have to have that. Every one of us went to school. I mean, Paula, did you go to high school with no teachers and no books?
No.
No, you had those, right?
Yes.
So you had resources and you had support, right?
Right.
So we all did. We all did. I mean, nobody graduates high school without teachers and without books. So we want to be able to have that support and accountability. That is so important for us to be able to have that. And then even then, that's still not enough. Why? Because we need to develop a track record of consistency of being able to do the right things consistently, time after time after time after time, so that we develop new habits, and the new habits lead to new results. That leads to a successful lifestyle change. That's why lifestyle medicine is so powerful, and it works because it's a change from the inside out. It's from the inside going out. Now, we know that a plant-based diet works. I know that it works. I know the research. I've read the research, but not everybody has. So we're out to get the information. And I'm clear you don't look like a bear, so why should you eat like a bear? Right? You may feel like a bear, but you're not a bear.
True.
Okay? But you don't look like a bear, you don't walk like a bear, you don't talk like a bear, you don't growl like a bear, so you shouldn't eat like a bear. All right, so don't do that. So you're a human being, Homo sapiens, and you're healthy, and your intestinal tract, everything else is designed to eat plants. It's designed to eat plants, and it really works quite well, and it works amazingly well as far as your health, and you want to be healthy. So I'm going to recommend you watch the webinar, Lose Weight, Feel Great, and any of the other webinars. Get Your Gut Healthy would be really good too. You want to watch that. Those two webinars would be really good for you to watch. So
Okay.
check those out. And yeah, I would, your problems that you have, the knots in your stomach, I can tell you this, having done the autopsies, meat does not break down in the intestinal tract.
Okay.
It doesn't. We don't have the enzymes, especially if you're having one meal a day and you've got meat in that meal. I promise you that's causing the knot in your stomach. I promise you, because I've done the autopsies and I have seen. I mean, it's ghastly. I know it's kind of crude right now, but the thing is, I have seen the meat in the intestinal tract in its state, and it rots and it putrefies. It's nasty. It's nasty. It really is. And it doesn't break down. And especially the older you get, the more unhealthy you get, and the less fiber you have in your diet, you have less capacity to be able to do that. So now what happens, it's getting really nasty, and your intestinal tract, the muscle is trying to deal with it, and it's wrestling with it, and it's causing that tension and that cramping in your intestinal tract. It's intense. And now I've experienced it, so I know I've had that happen to me. So I learned that when I cut out the meat, dairy, and eggs and the processed foods, my intestinal tract got significantly better, and I know it will for you.
Okay.
And feel free to check out my website, coachrubin.com. And then go to the top, there's a tab that says videos. I'm going to send you an email. You're going to get all this information anyway. So go to the videos, check out Lose Weight, Feel Great, Get Your Gut Healthy, and any of the others that I have. I got lots of information for you. But thanks for bringing this forward. I'm really excited that you did that. And I'm also intrigued. I see so many wacky diets on the market. I mean, eat like a bear. I mean, I don't know about you, but I've actually seen bears out in the wild. I don't think that's not suitable. What are they going to say next? Eat like a tiger? Like, no, I don't think so.
I'm waiting for the eat like an elf, where I can eat candy and sugar and all the others. Not really.
Okay. No, so what we say in lifestyle medicine is this, that what we want to promote is eat whole food, not processed food. Okay, so we want to stay away from processed foods. The standard American diet is 63% processed foods. That's a real problem. Okay, so we want to eat whole food, not processed food, and we want to eat plant food, not animal food. Okay, animal food causes so many problems. The list is so long as far as all the complications from eating animal foods, right? The carcinogens, the fat, the saturated fat, the contributing to all-cause mortality from eating all animal food. I mean, the list is so horrible, Paula. If you saw the research, it would freak you out, I promise you. It would just absolutely freak you out. I mean, we know, for instance, processed meats are class 1 carcinogen, the same as plutonium. asbestos, and cigarettes, nicotine. All right. So, I mean, the rest of the meats are a little bit better. They probably cause cancer. All right. So you don't have much good stuff coming from it. So you really want to go with a whole food and plant-based diet and drink water. Drink water.
I drink tons of water.
Wonderful.
I'm a FedEx courier, and that's all I do is drink water all day long. I'm tired of water.
Okay. Well, don't get tired of the water. Keep drinking the water. That's a good thing.
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome.
you for your help.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. That's why I'm here. I am so glad that you brought that forward. That's why I'm here. That's my purpose. I mean, I am passionate about eliminating chronic disease from the face of the planet, empowering every single person to live a thriving, healthy, happy life. That's what I'm passionate about. So
Okay, thank you.
Paula.
That's all. I want to ask a question.
Yeah, Marcia, you're up next.
Hi. Okay. I have like a few things to say. One thing is you briefly looked at what I wrote, but I don't think it registered.
Oh,
I
what was it?
ordered Matt's book immediately. It was on the bestseller list the next day and everything. And for some reason, from Prime Amazon, they reversed it and didn't send it to me, which I don't understand. I have his other books. I met him at the Remedy in Hilton Head, and I have all his books signed, even by his kids. Adorable. But for some reason, they reversed it. I guess I could try again. That's one thing. The other thing is, I'm
That's out of
hoping
my control.
What?
That's out of my controls.
I know. Yeah, it's like Chef AJ. I ordered her stuff. I was supposed to get a million extra things. I never got it. Anyway, so what happened was, I got to tell you a crazy story. 7 years ago, and I'm old, I was on a safari in South Africa when I got a very upsetting Facebook message that my nephew had passed away of a heart attack, which was not true. And it was devastating. Like, needless to say, the safari was over for me because he was brought up like a brother to me. Anyway, what actually had happened was he had a couple of stents put in. He was like on a Coumadin med, and he had an intracranial cerebral hemorrhage. And he just, flailing and dropped dead. Anyway, so I came home, and like, his death saved my life. I came home, I Googled my brains out, and I found Essie and Rip, and and I went to the farm several times, and I went on the MSC cruises and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm whole food, plant-based, no oil. But this is my couple of questions. My cholesterol is still like that. I mean, not like the other gentleman's, but it's not like as much as good as I would like it to be. There might be a hereditary factor in there, but my healthy is very good though. The other thing is, I never had a smoothie. I like also to chew, not to chew like the bear, but I like to chew. I chew like the collard greens, kale. I mean, I chew veggies and I steam like a shitload of greens. But I eat. I do flaxseed. I do ground flaxseed. I do oatmeal. I do everything right. I haven't cheated once in 7 years. So I'm very proud of myself. I've lost like a ton of weight also. But is it okay that I don't do the smoothie? I just eat.
Yeah, you eat all your greens, everything else. So here's what's interesting is that, so do you know your numbers in your cholesterol?
I don't offhand because of the goddamn COVID. I haven't been like a year and a half. So I have no clue. I want to go, but I haven't gone. I mean, I know that my healthy was good because, of course, that impressed me. But my triglycerides weren't great. And the cholesterol, I don't think was great. I mean, like, he likes you to be like 10, you know what I mean? Like 150 or something. It was not, I wasn't like, I was under 200, but not like, I think 185 total. Not great.
Okay.
Not terrible.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Oh, by the way, wait, one last thing. I used to work in neurology and vascular surgery, and I was in on the carotid endarterectomies and open heart surgery. So I have firsthand seeing all that crap firsthand.
Yeah. So you know what it looks like too.
I know just what the plaque looks like. I used to monitor the brain during the things so they didn't stroke out.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at it after the fact.
Yeah. They were still alive. Wait a minute. I should say some of them were still alive. A lot of them did crap out on the table. That's another story. But anyway.
Yes, that's true. Wow. Well, Marcia, quite a story.
Yes.
So here's the thing.
Yes.
Dr. Esselstyn, his approach is to absolutely, get your steamed greens 6 times a day, 5-6 times a day, and you're doing that all the time. So it really works well. Not a problem. It works. Dr. Brooke Goldner, what she's been doing is she's been showing is that it's harder for some people to chew that much.
Oh, I love it.
Okay.
I don't have a problem.
Great. However way you want to do it. In fact, Dr. Brooke Goldner started off doing the chewing. She was doing that. She was eating all the greens. She was doing that quite a bit.
Wait a minute, you said her name is Brooke Golder? Because I don't know her.
Yeah, Dr. Brooke Goldner, Brooke, Goldner, Goldner. She's got a YouTube channel. She is a lifestyle medicine physician as well. She is phenomenal. She wrote the book, Goodbye Lupus.
Oh, wow. I have a cousin with lupus. That's not a good disease.
Okay, not a good disease. And Goodbye Autoimmune Disorders.
I have an autoimmune disorder.
Okay, so you want to definitely connect.
But I'm in remission. What?
Okay, good. Good. Let's see.
For 14 years. And I credit the whole food plant-based diet with a lot of that remission.
Yeah.
By the way, just to tell you about that book, I ordered that book yesterday and I got it today.
Okay, good. So get Goodbye Lupus, Goodbye Autoimmune Disorders. All right, check in with her video. She's got a YouTube channel loaded, like over 450 videos. It's extraordinary. She's amazing. She spoke at the Plant Nutrition Project conference and was just like standing ovation, like absolutely phenomenal stuff. She is amazing. She put her lupus into remission. She was
Let me ask you something about lupus. My cousin has lupus, and I've been pushing for this. I mean, she's already had a liver transplant. I mean, like a lot of problems. And there's so many variables with lupus that she can't even really do our program. There's like a lot of issues that she has.
Right. Yeah. So you want to find out about this. Now Brooke,
I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell her to watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have birdshot. Did you ever hear of birdshot?
I'm sorry?
Did you ever hear of birdshot?
Birdshot? No.
I have birdshot retinochoroidopathy, which is self-evident when you hear what it is.
Okay, got that. Okay, I know.
Yeah. And pseudoexfoliation syndrome. I won the lottery in the wrong area. I have 2 potentially blinding diseases, eye diseases.
You want to connect with this. So my webinar, Freedom from Autoimmune Disorders.
Yeah. Well, I've been free for 14 years. Freedom from autoimmune disorders?
Yes. So I have a webinar, Freedom from Autoimmune Disorders, and then definitely connect with Dr. Brooke Goldner's material as well. Get her books. Okay. Don't
you think that this lifestyle does give us freedom from autoimmune disorders? I mean, I've been in revision since 2006.
Here's the thing. For some people, they need a little bit extra. And this is what I've discovered. So some people this is one of the things that Dr. Brooke Goldner talks about, and I think it's really spot on. And she's got the research that she's done extensively. She's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So I'll tell you briefly. She was diagnosed with lupus at the age of 16 on chemotherapy for 2 whole years.
Oh, wow.
It went through medical school and then had a relapse. I mean, it was just really terrible. She went through a horrific time. And then she met the love of her life and Thomas Tadlog. And so he was a trainer, plant-based, and he got her started on a plant-based nutrition. And so then she started doing the chewing of all the greens and everything else. And she started doing that. And so she lost the weight, felt better, and started going into remission. But she's been treating people with autoimmune disorders for 15, 16 years now. So it's been remarkable. She's absolutely brilliant, knows the research. Now, what she talks about is this. There's degrees of anti-inflammatory capacity in different diets. So the pro-inflammatory diets are going to be like eat like a bear, okay, the ketogenic diet, the paleo diet.
Garbage.
Those are all pro-inflammatory.
Terrible.
Now, there is something called the Autoimmune Protocol, AIP. All right. So what those are is a little bit better. That's saying meat, fish, it's saying grass-fed beef and wild fish, wild-caught fish, and then plants and vegetables. So that's a little bit better, but still causing inflammation. Then there's the vegan diet. Now, I call this the vegans because there's vegans that they go no meat, no animal in their diet, right? But they can still have junk food, all right? So there's a lot of processed foods that also cause inflammation. So they don't realize that they can possibly be causing inflammation with all the oil, all the preservatives, all the sugar.
I don't do that.
Yeah,
don't
so
do
that's the thing. Yeah, you can.
I'm whole food, plant-based, no oil.
Yeah, got that. So, but some people are vegans, right? They're technically vegans and they're doing it ethically for the animals. Nothing bad or wrong about that. It's perfectly fine. But Oreo cookies, even though they're vegan, are not necessarily healthy, right? So
I do
then
frozen grapes and frozen bananas.
right. So now there's whole food plant-based, okay, which strictly speaking also means no oil and no sugar. So it's whole food, not processed food, plant-based, not animal food. Now, that is definitely moving up the ladder as far as anti-inflammatory. But for some people, because of their condition, because of what they're dealing with, they still could have an inflammatory response. They could still have some aspect of autoimmune disorders going on in their body that are not quite adequately addressed. And here's why. The reason why is that their omega-3 to omega-6 ratio in their body is such that their omega-6s are too high still. And even on a whole food plant-based diet, it may not necessarily drive that ratio to more equivalency. What we want to be able to do to address autoimmune disorders, especially the tricky ones, all right, like your conditions, the lupus, Sjogren's syndrome, multiple sclerosis, the list goes on. There's a whole bunch. What we have to be able to do, and this is what Brooke Goldner talks about, we've got to be able to drive that ratio of omega-3 up and the omega-6s down.
Right.
Now, that's a strategy. That's a definite medical treatment strategy, but we're doing it nutritionally with these smoothies. And what she's been able to show is
do you suggest a chronometer?
No, it's a simple solution here. All we're doing is taking a Vitamix blender,
which I have,
75% with leafy greens, dark leafy greens, whatever you want, kale, spinach, chard, list goes on.
Right.
Then you put a half a cup of flax or chia seeds. Why? Because those particular seeds, the flax and chia seeds, are extremely potent in omega-3 fatty acids.
Do you do one each day, alternate? How do you do it?
April makes them. We've got both. April,
I generally do the flax. I generally do flax. I rarely do chia. I generally do flax.
We do both.
I put 1/4 of a cup of chia and 1/4 of a cup of flax.
You do both.
I also, yes, I also like to use a lot of chia throughout the day. In addition to that, like make chia pudding. Any omega-3s I can get, the more the better.
I don't do that, and I don't eat avocados. That I don't do.
So anyway, flax or chia seeds, what we show in the research, are extremely high in omega-3 fatty acids.
Right.
The ratio.
I put it on oatmeal.
Yeah, you can put it on your oatmeal. That's fine. So there's a ratio of 4 omega-3s to 1 omega-6 in flax and chia seeds. So it's a very good ratio. So we want to drive that ratio up. And then we put 25% of the blender with fruit, you name it, whatever you want. Anything, anything goes. And then you put water up to the level of the greens. So 75%, about 4 cups of water. So you put that in, let the Vitamix blender do its magic for about 2 to 3 minutes, and you get to drink this. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people will drink this. A lot of people they don't enjoy chewing that much food. So the thing
I'm the opposite.
You love doing it. Great. More power to you.
I love to chew. I don't like to drink. It's a problem. Yeah.
I know. That's fine. You don't have to. You can do it other ways. Okay.
Wait, don't laugh. I have a 750 professional Vitamix. I used it once.
That's great.
I use aquafaba, like I made like an aquafaba, something from my no tuna, like was left. Wait a minute. I even bought a Nutrimilk because AJ said, buy a Nutrimilk. I bought a Nutrimilk. I used that twice, but that was great. I put in frozen grapes and I made like a sherbet. Came out fabulous.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. All right. April.
Oh, I was just going to ask or add for Marcia, since she likes to chew, Dr. Brooke Goldner's recommendation, and same with Caldwell Esselstyn and Ruben, is we're wanting to get those greens in our bodies 6 times a day.
Right.
So like every 2 hours. And
Right.
also the omega-3s are helping your body absorb the phytonutrients and the
Right.
phytochemicals. So maybe I would suggest, if you still like to eat them, why don't you make a dressing with chia and flax and then put that on your greens? That way you're eating them.
Oh, yeah, I could do that. I could do that. But just to tell you, I've been in remission since 2006. 15 years I've been in remission. I'm freaking 77 years old. I don't have that much long to go.
You got a long ways to go. What are you talking about?
Who knows? My mother was 95, maybe. But I mean, I think I've done pretty well. But wait a minute, doctor. I was on, you ready? The worst of the worst of this. I was on Pred and cyclosporin.
Oh,
or I would have been blind for 3 years. And then in 2006, I've been in remission since. But I had to go on those horrible meds. I had to.
Right. Yeah, that's what happened with Brooke Goldner too. She was on horrible meds with the chemotherapy. Oh my God.
That I didn't have, thank you.
Nasty stuff. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, so give that a shot. Check those out. April, go ahead.
So yeah, I have a question.
Okay, good.
And this is a different subject now. And Roger brought it up when he was talking about a skin condition. And Ruben, you had mentioned something about it could even be a deficiency.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was looking up to see if what kind of deficiency could be for a fungal infection.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw it could potentially be an iron deficiency. But it brought to my attention when I first went plant-based, it'll be almost 2 years now. I think I had my first lab test about maybe 2 months in or 3 months in, because I wanted to make sure I didn't have any deficiencies, because that's something I was really worried about.
Yes.
And then now I have them like every 6 months. So what are your recommendations for that? For how often should I have my labs done just to check? They've all been pretty good. In the beginning, I was low on vitamin D. And
everybody,
I think a lot of people are low in vitamin D, whether you're plant-based or not plant-based, because we spend most of our time indoors. But how often, like, especially someone who's going in plant-based that's new, like when would you recommend that? At month 1, month 2, month 3, or 6 months, or once a year?
Good question. Really, really good question. So how frequently should we have blood work done?
Yes.
So there's a couple factors here. It depends on what we're dealing with. So for instance, somebody who's got a chronic condition, like they've got an autoimmune disorder, they got blood pressure issues, they're on hypertensive medication, they're diabetic. All right, so those people, I want to have their blood work checked a little bit more frequently if they've got some kind of clinical condition. Like for instance, your father, April, right now, so he needs to have, that's why I'm asking him to check in with his blood pressure all the time, because he's now started a plant-based diet. And one of the side effects of starting a plant-based diet is that if you are on hypertensive medication, you may need to reduce your medication. So that's what's exactly happening for him. So he went in and checked in with his doctor, and he's got the protocol from his doctor as far as being able to check in and notice how he feels, and he's checking his blood pressure. So we want to check in as frequently as possible with somebody who's got a condition. For instance, diabetes is another example. Somebody who's diabetic, I want to be able to have them check in with their doctor before they get started, so that they actually start. I did this with Angela in my Freedom from Diabetes webinar. I talk about her. I had her go in, get her blood work done before we even started the protocol. And we started with, the blood sugar, A1C, the whole blood panel, so everything else. So we knew exactly where she was. And then she was checking her blood and for blood sugar 3 times a day. So I was very strict about that with her, so that she was being able to monitor that quickly and then being able to make adjustments as time went on. So it depends on the person, how frequently we need to be checking the blood, because we may need to be modifying the medications. So that's
someone who's fairly, so I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. So it depends. Now, if they're more stable and more healthy like that, that they're not on, the quick changing medications, then we can maybe go a little bit longer. So it depends. Everybody's going to be a little bit different. So this is my particular expertise from the clinical perspective, looking at each person. This is why I say to some people, do a consultation with me. I'll set up a plan, and then we can create a plan. And then figure out, okay, how often do you need to have your blood work checked so that we can actually modify the medications. If they're on medications, it really is important to check the blood work frequently enough for that person, because we may need to decrease the medications because there's side effects, and we want to get them off of medications. I mean, that's the intention. I want people to be free of meds. I mean, that's a really a great thing to be free of meds. So it's a wonderful thing to do. So it varies from person to person. It really does. So there's no single thing. Now for you, I would say for you, now for deficiencies, usually here's what happens. So for particular mineral deficiencies, things like that, those usually, my experience, what I see is that when people get onto a whole food plant-based diet and they're really doing a good job with it, and they got no oil, no processed foods, and everything else, SOS free, all that good stuff, they're usually the deficiencies, they go away and they improve. They improve dramatically. They usually improve in a very short period of time. That's usually the case. However, it's good to get people checking their blood every now and then. If they're fairly stable and everything's going really well, I would say check your blood every 6 months or so is a pretty good time frame. That's pretty good, because if you're on the journey, you want to see where you're at until you get to a point where you have 2 to 3 blood panels that are all completely healthy and normal. Then you can check it less frequently, like once a year.
Okay, all right. Yeah, in the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing. And it was probably a good idea that I did get it checked as often as I did. Now I'm learning more and more, so I can tweak my nutrition a little bit, make sure I get really well balanced. All my vitamins and minerals and nutrients and all my macros. Okay, thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay, very good. Let me go to the chat window for a second. Let's see here. Okay, we got okay, all right. No, we're not going to eat like a bear. Okay, good. All right, let's see. Friendly reminder, people. Okay, friendly reminder, people need to have appropriate sodium electrolytes to avoid overhydration. Almost impossible on a plant-based diet. As long as you're having all plant-based, you're going to get all the electrolytes you can get. Several low and no sodium folks got seriously sick, not realizing treating dehydration with lots of water. It is almost impossible to experience hypernatremia, which is the condition for overhydration. It doesn't happen very often. People are usually in an unhealthy state. If they're on a whole food plant-based diet, that's usually not going to happen for that. Now, I doubt that 10% of hospital admissions are related to this emergency, from what you understand. I was a hospital administrator. I never saw this. So I don't know where you get that data from, but that's not consistent with the data that I've seen, because I was a hospital administrator. I was in charge of utilization and admissions, and I actually looked at all that data. So I've never, in fact, when I was a hospital administrator, I never saw one single admission for this. So I doubt that that's the case. I wonder, yeah, some athletes experience hydration. No, that's not the case, because athletes, especially if they're physically active, the body is really well designed. I mean, it's amazing. We can drink a lot of water. It's hard to drink too much water. It's possible. It happened in Sacramento on a radio station show one time that somebody actually did that. She drank a whole gallon of water at one time. She chugged an entire gallon of water. Insane. Okay, you got to be mentally off to do that, all right? You really do. That's not normal. It's not healthy to do that. So the thing is, for an athlete to drink too much water is nearly impossible, because the body is, if you're drinking water consistently, your body is going to absolutely eliminate the excess water. It's so beautiful. It's an amazing process. Our kidneys work all the time. As long as your kidneys are working, you're doing great. And you're going to go to the bathroom. And I always told my athletes, drink and pee, drink and pee, drink and pee, drink and pee. And you want to make sure that your urine is very nice, clear to pale yellow. That's how it should be. So it's almost impossible to overhydrate. Almost impossible. The problem on the other end of dehydration is severe and serious, and that does happen. And I've seen that happen several times. Nancy, do you have something you wanted to add? Nancy, did you want? Hello? Okay. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. From Ann, a half a cup every day. I presume that you're talking about the flax and chia seeds. It seems like too much. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. It's not too much. All right, this is exactly what Brooke Goldner. So you want to check out her videos and check what she presents.
Hey, Ruben, can I ask a question regarding that though?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so this is the deal. I know a long time ago you told me if I wanted to lose, lower my body fat percentage, you're like,
Yep.
Ease up on the nuts, seeds, avocados, blah, blah, blah. So I've been easing up, but now I'm reading Brooke Goldner stuff and she's like, I use her recipes and I'm just thinking, oh my God, that's like a whole half a cup of seeds. You got to be kidding. Ruben would kill me because he told me not to. So I feel
realize that.
Well, I know, but I feel like I'm a little confused between, I don't mind. And I'm like April, I'll make chia pudding and I'll add seeds in my oatmeal and I'll add seeds here and there. So, you know me, I'm a great cook. I mix my stuff up, but I'm thinking so how does this play into me, exercising and trying to balance out what I'm doing for myself? Is this good for me? I'm talking about me. Is this good for me to do, or what is your suggestion? Because it seems like it's still super high.
I get that. So for the longest time, I focused on simply reducing fat. And I realized that for a lot of people, their fat intake in their diet was way too high. And if they have, now let me kind of give you the perspectives that I've refined over time, because remember, I'm always learning, I'm always growing too. So when I started, one of the first things that I see in people is they got oil slicks inside their cells because of way too much fat in their diet. So the first order of business still, in my opinion, is to clear out the oil slicks inside the cells.
Okay.
Oil slicks inside the cells are caused by the saturated fat, the monounsaturated fats, and the omega-6s. All right, you're going to have most of those, especially the saturated fats and the monounsaturated fats. That's contributing to those stable fat pockets, that intramyocellular lipids inside the cells. So we need to clear those out. Those need to get cleared out. Far too many people have way too much fat inside their cells. So the oil slicks need to be cleared out. That's first order of business. That's number one. Now, next thing is that once we clear out those oil slicks, the second thing is we need to start actually having the right kinds of fats, because now our cells are starting to function as they are supposed to function. So we need a little bit of fat. If you remember the energy production diagram, how we produce energy inside the cell, we use amylose and amylopectin, the two complex carbohydrates that we need in order to formulate glycogen.
Right.
And then we also need a little bit of fat. Well, that fat specifically is the omega-3 fatty acids. That's the fat that we do need to come into the mitochondria to then set up the Krebs cycle in producing adenosine triphosphate.
Okay, so is that why then my numbers that I shared with you the other day are off? Like my omega-6 to omega-3 ratio, the omega-6 was way higher than my omega-3s.
Right. So that's why what we want to do now is we want to drive the omega-3 ratio up, the amount of omega-3s up, and the omega-6s relative to the omega-3s downward. So we need the influx of, this is what Brooke Goldner has discovered. This is what I've come to realize from her work and her research, is that if we drive the omega-3s up, now what we're going to do is drive the inflammation down.
Okay, so basically I'm doing that with the flaxseed and the chia seeds and the avocado. So I don't really need to look at that as like, this is gonna, up my fat intake. But it's actually, it's a healthy fat that I should be getting so that I can lower my ratio, because my ratio is too high at the moment.
Correct.
Okay, because I came about, I started juicing and it's like 48 ounces of juice every day. That's a lot. Mm-hmm. But the thing is I want to make sure that I'm not consuming too much fat, but I've been oil free for a while now. So I would
Right.
think that my body's in a good space as far as that's concerned.
Right. So you don't have the oil slicks in your cells anymore. So you've cleared that out. So stage 1 successful. Now
Okay.
what we need is the correct fats to come in. And then we start utilizing, and actually stage 2, you start using the fat stores in your body.
Okay.
And then stage 3 is where you start introducing the right kinds of fats, the healthy fats that our body can actually break down and use.
Okay. No, that totally makes sense. And thank you for kind of, just providing the update, because I just, ever since I started this with Brooke Goldner, it's just been totally confusing to me. I mean, I want my inflammation level to go down, which I know is high.
Yeah.
But then it's like all my numbers, like I shared with you, are high. So I've been really concerned nutritionally what I'm doing. And, it used to make sense, but it hasn't recently. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, think of it this way, is that the omega-3s are anti-inflammatory.
Okay.
So what we want to be, that's like a treatment. It's a treatment. It's not going to contribute to oil slicks inside yourself at all.
Okay, well, I feel like I need to look up a list of everything that has a higher, or go back to your stuff and just nutritionally, what are the foods that are going to be super high in omega-3s, just so that I can actually bring more of those into my diet now.
Right. That's where you go with the dark leafy greens. You go with the omega, with the flax and chia seeds. There's a whole list.
Okay.
Yeah. April?
I was just going to say nutritiondatatools.com, I think is the website where you can look at the ratio if you want to see the 3-to-6 ratio. So you can see there's beans, legumes, nuts, seeds, whole grains, fruits, vegetables, and you can actually see what foods are higher in omega-3 than 6.
Okay, I'm sorry. What was the website again?
Let me double check it before I quote it here.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's nutrition.
I think it's nutritiondatatools.com.
Nutrition data tools. Okay.
I'm going to double check real quick before I give you that for sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, April.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see here. Let me go through a couple things. Let's see. Gastric issue, diarrhea. Leora, I'm not sure about your question. I'm not understanding it correctly. Gastric issue, diarrhea, more tablespoon of chia and flax. Okay, maybe you can type that in for me. I'm not comprehending that. Okay, let's see. Next one, Roger. What kind of markers should be checked? Iron, calcium, B12, D, anything else? If you get your blood work done, it's a good thing to just check everything as much as you possibly can. I don't focus on the micronutrients nearly as much. B12 is an important thing for us to supplement with. Everybody should be supplementing with B12. In lifestyle medicine, we talk about that. You don't need a whole lot. It's, in fact, your body stores it in the liver. It's a water-soluble vitamin that your liver stores, so you can take 1,000 to 2,500 micrograms of vitamin B12 once a week, and you're fine. All right, so you don't need a whole lot. But we do recommend not supplementing with minerals in particular, because you can get all the minerals you want from your plants. So one of the things that I see a lot of people, their minerals actually get to normal levels very, very shortly after they start a plant-based diet. So it usually changes in a very positive way. But it's good to monitor it and see where you're at. Let's see. Let's see. All right. Got that. You were dehydrated, Leora. Sorry about that. You gotta make sure you have enough water. Let's see, how long does it take to clear out the oil slicks in our cells? That's different depending on everybody. Everybody has different amount of fat. Some people, I can tell you, I saw one man at the pool. My heart went out to him. He is easily 400, pushing maybe closer to 450 pounds, maybe more. His cells are filled with oil. I'm just really clear about it. And there's a lot. So everybody's different. All right, let's see. Nancy, I've been drinking the green smoothies with a half a cup mixture of chia and flax seeds. Also, I started gaining weight from adding the seeds. Let's see. Need to eat starches if I'm doing the smoothie. Do I need to eat starches if I'm doing the smoothies with seeds? So what we have to do is, if you're drinking the smoothies with the seeds, you probably need to relook at the total composition of your diet, and you want to be able to look at maybe eating a little bit less food. It's easy to drink the smoothies, and if you eat the same, you're probably getting more calories. The caloric density is probably going up in your diet. So you may need to look at that as far as the overall picture. And then there's more to gaining weight than just the smoothies, all right? So you have to look at everything as far as what you're doing. So, yep, and Dr. McDougall talks about a great way to be able to lose weight is about 50% starchy foods and 50% vegetables. So you want to be able to have that kind of a ratio as far as that's concerned. But
Yeah.
having plenty of fruit. Yes, Nancy.
Well, that's what I've been doing. And I was losing weight following McDougall's program. And then I thought, well, I'm going to do Brooke Goldner's, but I'm having a hard time just eating raw and not eating starches. And so I thought, well, I'll do the smoothie and then I'll still eat like I was eating with McDougall. You know, I have a little bit of of Ezekiel cereal in the morning with some soy milk and some fruit. Then I'll have my smoothie during the day. And then in the evening, I'll have like maybe even some steamed vegetables and some baked potato or something, you know, just like normally what I was eating. And I stopped losing weight and then even started gaining weight. So I was thinking it was because, you know, with McDougall, I don't, you know, you don't eat the fat. You know, I was staying away from avocados and of course no oil. But now I'm putting in a half a cup of flax and chia seeds, which is all fat. So is there a way to do half and half, or do I just need to go full out with Brooke Goldner's and eat raw? So that's really difficult for me to do.
Yeah, I get it. So you can definitely find the happy medium for you. And it's an experimentation for you. I mean, you just have to find out what's the happy balance for you. I'm not eating as much food, prepared food, when I have these smoothies. That's what I've noticed for myself. I'm not needing to. These are almost like a replacement meal for me. That's how I have to view it. All right. So this is real important to look at, because this is nutrition. This is a lot of it, and there's a lot of fuel in these smoothies. So you have to think of it that way. It's not just a drink. All right. It's not just a beverage. All right. It's a meal, if you will. So you have to look at your total diet, and you have to look at, you're getting a lot of packed in nutrition in one of these smoothies. There's a lot of fuel in this. There really is. I mean, when you think about what you're packing into that blender, all right, in order to make a smoothie, that's a lot of fuel. I mean, it would take a lot for you to eat all of that. I mean, that would be a humongous salad. Right? So you have to think of it that way. So it's definitely food. And so you have to balance it out and figure out what's the happy medium for you. So you may have to scale back as far as the amount of starches and as far as the volume of it. And you can find the happy medium, I think. And this is, Brooke Goldner talks about this. I remember she talked about this in one of her videos. So you have to look at it. I can't remember which the title of it is. She's got so many. But the thing is, you have to scale it back, because this is food. This is actually food. It's not just an extra beverage. So think of that, and that might help you. So play around with that and see how that works.
Yeah, because I've got about 100 pounds more to lose. I've lost 65, but, you know, and it just, you know, I've got RA and I'm trying to heal from that. And so at first I started, okay, I'm going to do the rapid recovery. And I bought her book and I've been listening to her And I thought, okay, I'll do the rapid recovery, but it's 6 weeks and I failed after a week. I'm like, I can't just eat raw. It was just very difficult. Very,
Yeah.
very.
It is difficult for some people to be going raw. Okay. So if you've been eating a lot of cooked starches and foods like from the McDougall program, you may have to find a happy medium for yourself. And that's perfectly fine. It's not a problem. There's no right or wrong in any of this. There really is.
Have you heard if anybody can heal? I mean, if people have healed just doing the hypernutrition and not the rapid recovery? The 6 week raw versus, just having a smoothie along with what else you eat, not necessarily do the raw.
Right. So the thing about it is that everybody's a little bit different. Okay. My experience is this. I mean, I've been working with people with rheumatoid arthritis over many years, several different times. And so everybody's a little bit different. So, and depends on their gastrointestinal tract, their history, their culture, their family patterns of eating food. There's so many different variables at stake here. So there's a lot of things, and everybody will respond a little bit differently. And what's been interesting for me to see is this, that when I've approached it a particular way, it may or may not have been successful for somebody. And then let's say in some cases I've noticed it was not as successful. And then what I'm always learning. That's one of the things about being in the healthcare field. It's called a medical practice. It's about constantly growing and learning and discovering what are new ways to be able to help this person, because everybody's a little bit different. So maybe this person needs to be more on the smoothies or less on the smoothies or whatever the case may be. So everybody's a little bit different. So it takes a little bit of a practice and adjustments, and everybody's different. And I don't think there's one way.
Yeah.
I don't think there's one way for everybody. I don't think there is. I mean, everybody's a little bit different, and we have to find out what is it that works for you.
Right. Yeah, I think what has killed me over the years, because I've been doing this for about 3.5, 4 years, is the going out to eat. And I try not to do it very often, but I know when I do, I'm eating oil. It's just a given.
Right.
Because I'm not going to just go out to eat and have a dry salad and, a baked potato. It's just, I'd rather just not go than to do that. And so, how bad does an occasional oil meal just set you back?
Again, it's going to be different for every single person. And the more you get clean in your diet and you eat without oil, the more sensitive your intestinal tract will become and your whole body will become to having the oil in your diet. So sometimes you'll notice it really fast. I notice it really quickly. I mean, there will be physical symptoms that I will experience from having oil. My gastrointestinal tract, it's nasty. There's gas, there's bloating, there is diarrhea sometimes. There's all kinds of things that are really, really symptomatic, like very quickly. I know it, I feel it. My energy drops. There's a lot of symptoms that can be experienced for people once you clean up your intestinal tract. Then once you introduce anything that shouldn't be there, that's not compatible with the human intestinal tract, you'll notice it much more quickly. So everybody's different in terms of how that works. And it'll affect your bloodstream. It'll affect your cells. It'll affect every part of your body. It really will. And you'll notice it. And so the thing is, everybody's different in terms of how they experience that. And I try to stay away from it. In fact, I go to restaurants now. We just went yesterday to a restaurant. It's a Vietnamese restaurant near where I live. It's called Pho Fresh, and they have an oil-free vegan menu.
Oh my, you're in California, right? No. I'm in
and
Texas.
The flavor is, it's amazing. Like, look, most people don't realize the flavor comes from the spices, not from the oil. Okay. It comes from the spices. So the flavor in the food was just fantastic. absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, it was just fabulous to have excellent, delicious, healthy, plant-based food and oil-free complete to boot.
Yeah.
So it's possible, and more of this will become available as time goes on. I mean, there now there's at least a handful, at least 5 restaurants in Sacramento that will provide oil-free dishes on
Nice.
their menu.
Well, I'm in Texas, and so we're doing good just to have some vegan restaurants coming up here in the DFW area.
Wow. Oh, so okay. So you're Dallas-Fort Worth area. Yeah. Okay.
Now, the thing that's most prevalent is a lot of vegan Mexican places. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
they're all just loaded with oil.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Cauliflower tacos, nice fried, and things like that. It's
I
just
know.
dripping with oil.
Yeah.
Excuse me for a second. I always ask for steamed, and I bring my own. I make my own hummus at home, and I bring it. You can
Yeah.
always bring a little container with you.
Yeah.
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 It's
this
not a
is
big
part of-
deal. It's not a big deal. It's worth it.
Yeah, this is part of what I recommend to people, that they really learn how to take complete 100% complete responsibility for your
Right.
health. And that is a taller order. That's
Yeah.
a taller order. So that's why I recommend, you learn how to do that. And it takes a lot of doing. It really does.
It
I
takes a
think
lot.
today, though, restaurants are very, very, very helpful. I go to a place. I live in Sun City, Hilton Head, and New York, but
Yeah.
here they're so wonderful. I'd say, listen, I can't have oil. I can't have oil. Just make it steamed. I have no problem.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do that. You have to communicate that way. Dr. Esselstyn has an interesting way of putting it. I love his way of doing it. I learned this from Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn.
No oil.
He goes to a restaurant and he says, excuse me, he calls the waiter over. He said, I need you to give a message to the chef. So I am deathly allergic to oil. So I can't have even one drop. It will kill me. And I don't think you want a dead man on your hands. So make sure that my food is all whole food. It's all plant-based, and it cannot have a single drop of oil. Otherwise you will kill me. All right. So please communicate that to the chef, and it works every time.
I have a friend who has a card. It says, no oil, no this, no fried, no kidding.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, so it works out really great. Okay, good. All right, so anyway, I think this has been great. Any other questions from anybody?
Thank you.
Okay, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. My pleasure. Thanks for spending this time with me. I'm going to send everybody an email, lots of information. Be sure to check out my upcoming Evolving Health 12-week lifestyle medicine immersion program retreat. We're going to do a retreat at a vegan resort.
I love it. Where?
Oil-free food to boot. It's going to be at the Stanford Inn of Mendocino, overlooking the Pacific Ocean. It will be fabulous.
Is that in California?
In California, yes. Come out and join
When you said
us.
Stanford, I was hoping Connecticut.
No, so come out and join us for a vacation course extraordinaire. It's going to be
April.
October.
April, I just have to tell you, your complexion is gorgeous.
Thank you. So this is my complexion.
No, April.
Oh, April. Well, yeah. Hers is too. Yes. So the thing about it is that we're going to be in this retreat October 10th through the 16th. It's going to be fabulous. We're going to have the coursework. We're going to have meals together. It's all vegan.
And I would love it if I could
plant-based,
get there.
oil-free. It'll be overlooking the Pacific Ocean. We're going to have a great time, plus 12 weeks of follow-up afterwards, group coaching with me. And it's just fantastic.
How much is it and when is it?
So I'm going to send you all the information. So I don't do sales on these programs. at
Okay,
all.
and could I bring my puppy?
You sure can. It's animal friendly. Absolutely.
Really? Look at my
Please,
baby. Look at my
please
little
bring
baby.
your dog. Oh, please
that'd
bring
be
the puppy.
wonderful. That'd be
Look at my
wonderful.
little baby.
Only if I get to babysit a little bit.
Hello,
Ah!
he's yours. He's yours. I keep threatening to send him to the pound when he bites me. Hello, baby.
Oh,
Say
cutie.
hi. Say hi. I'm a good boy. I'm a good boy sometimes. I'm a good boy sometimes.
Yeah, that's great. Awesome.
That's the pandemic. You know what I mean? I had a baby during the pandemic.
There you go.
I'm too old for a baby, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah, I know. Well, when you get a puppy, you have a baby.
I'll tell you one thing, though. I mean, you're going to crack up. You ready for this? I've been walking like a son of a gun. Of course, this makes you walk, of course.
Of course.
So every night I take him out. This is so funny. I take him out. I have a baby carriage, a stroller. I take him out to like pee and poop. You know, he goes around, he goes, and then he jumps into the stroller like, hello, I'm the prince. I peed. Now push me. It's hysterical. The only good thing about it is that I do like 3 miles and I push it. It's easier because he's not like pulling me. He's 8 pounds. He can throw me over. So that's
so
the good
funny.
part. But I mean, he should be walking with the brat. But you know, he's the prince.
Yeah, that's great.
Talking about you, Cinnamon. And his name is Cinnamon.
Cinnamon. Well, cinnamon is spoiled.
Oh yeah. Well, because he's chocolate. He's chocolate. Look how he ripped up paper, the brat. Oh, he's such a brat.
Oh,
He's so damn cute though. You know, you can't help it. He's cute.
That's great.
Gets away with murder. There's his stroller. What's his stroller? That's his stroller.
That's
And like
great.
he'll jump right in, the brat. Like, anyway, I want to come to California to see
Well,
you
come
go.
on out and join us in October.
It's a
All right.
schlep for me though. I'll be in New York in that time. New York.
Okay, sounds good. Well,
Anyway, come to Hilton Head. Come to Hilton Head.
I'm actually, let's see.
Matt
when am I-
comes, Matt
I'm
comes.
heading out. Let's see, my schedule.
Esselson comes. Everybody comes. Colin.
Let's see.
Colin,
I am heading
Campbell comes.
out. Let's see. I'm going to.
Will you really come to Hilton Head?
I would come out there. Let's see.
Fabulous.
I don't.
It's
have
gorgeous out
anything
here. It's
in
beautiful.
New York coming up. No,
Oh,
I
New
don't
York.
have anything that far north. I was just in Rockville, Maryland.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah, so I was just there, and I'm.
But are
Gonna,
you going to go to New York? You said New York?
No, I would love to come out to New York.
Oh, New York is great. Come to New York.
I would love to. That would be great.
New York,
All right.
South Carolina, anything.
Yep, great. All right. Well, thank you all for being with me. Thank you.
Thank
so much.
you. I feel like we had a private session. I love it.
Yeah, you did. It was
Thank
awesome.
I talk so much. I need a private session movie.
Really great.
I want to know if that's the plants.
That's great. That's
Can I
great.
blame the plants?
It's all because of the plants.
That's what it is. Wait a minute. You want to laugh? Look at this. You see this?
That is Remedy. Yes. Okay.
That's
good.
where I met Matt. Yeah.
There you go. That's great.
Anyway, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
thanks again, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks again. I'll be doing
you.
this again in about a month. All right. so look
Great.
out for that.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Great to
welcome.
meet everybody.
Spread the word. Okay.
Bye-bye. Bye, everybody.